Hello students, in our last class we saw what is booting. Booting is the process of starting a computer where different stages comes and things work one by one. They are linked in a chain, one step after that the step 2, step 3 like this. So we were learning how the booting process take place in MS-DOS. Because MS-DOS is a small operating system, it has not more much to do, so it is easy to understand the booting process. Although you can take uh, example of Windows or Android, what is the complete booting process, what thing happens, so you can find it in internet anyway. So in the final stage of booting process in MS DOS, what happens mainly in MS DOS? The first is io.sys file, input output.sys. This is a system file, input output.sys file. This file is loaded. This file is stored in a secondary device. We have already seen boot sector and all. And then its code is executed. The code which is there in the io.sys is executed. After which ms-dos.sys is executed. Then it also does a few things. Now, what exactly they do, you may find it over the internet. Is they activate the input output system. This activate the core operating system. And then more complete operating system codes load and initializes the rest of the operating system structure beginning with command interpreter. After these two things are loaded, command.com file is executed through which command interpreter is loaded. After which only a DOS operating system, it starts understanding commands. All the internal commands are loaded. Internal and external two types of commands are there. All the common commands which are mostly used are termed as internal command, important commands. They get loaded with command.com. Okay. So, or in other words, all the commands which are loaded in RAM or which are there in command.com, they are known as internal commands like dir, cls, md, cd, copy. These all are the internal commands. You can find the list. They are readily available. They will never say that bad command. They will work because they are internal command and they get loaded with command.com. And then the execution of the config.sys. This is a system file, configuration file. Lot of settings are there, like what how the file name will be saved, how what date and time. And a lot of things are there which are configured in config.sys. These files can be found. Hmm. Uh, let's try to find them. Although this is in older version of Windows, you may find them, but it is there. Huh? If you'll see Windows XP or Windows 98 or even older, then you may find all these files. This is Windows 10. Then it is a changed, it's a different operating system. But still, let us see this command prompt is there. Few commands like dir, like cls, md, cd, they all work. Okay, we need to write the proper syntax of it. Few commands are external commands, which only works if proper path is set. Like path is a command which shows you that C drive, this is one of the path, this is another path, this is another. This tells the location of external command. If you type any command, then it look in these locations for those things. And if it is found in those folders, if it exists, then it will work. And if it is not there, then it will not work. Okay, like while working with Java, we normally write Java, or Java C is a command which, I mean, compiles the Java code. But if your system is not properly configured for Java compilation, then it says bad command. But since it is configured, it will work. Now this is an example of external command, and you may find it here. C program by JDK bin. This folder contains the Java C command, and therefore it works. So if you're installing Java, then installing Java is not enough, because JavaC command will not work unless you have set the path. Now, today you may understand why do we normally need to set a path. Once we set a path in path, then while typing any external command, it look for that command in these folders. And in this folder, those commands are there. Let us go to this folder, and see what I'm talking about. Program files, then Java, JDK 14.2. Look at this location usage. See, program file Java JDK 14.2, and then bin. And there we have Java C command. Look at this Java C. You know, so these all are the external commands. So how can we differentiate between the commands? Look at this. Click the type button here. Here, look at the mouse pointer. All these application extensions are application file. All they are executable files. All will execute, like armid. Armid, this is some random file. Okay, what kind of file is this? Application file. Okay, now right here armid, it's working, it's doing its work. Why? Because this is one of the external command, and it is meant for some work. And for what work it is meant for, you need to study about it, but I'm just showing you that armid I have written, and it is working from subdrive C, from anywhere it will work. Why? Because this is a command, this is an application type file which will execute, and this is there. Okay, yeah. One more thing I'd like to show you, although we should not run any command about which if we don't know. Control C you can use for breaking it. Winword is something, let us see it works or not. Winword is also working. Winword is command, or you may say it's an executable file which opens word. Okay, ये वर्ड खोल रहा है. क्यों खोल रहा है? क्योंकि ये माइक्रोसॉफ्ट ऑफिस का टूल है, विनवर्ड, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट वर्ड व्हाट वी यूज, दैट इज द सेम थिंग, and whose path is set here somewhere. Okay, that's why it is working. Excel starts from here. So all the executable files can be executed, all the application type files can be executed from command prompt. The matter is it must be set in the path. If it is not set, then set it. If suppose you have got some commands from somewhere or some application from somewhere, and if you want to run it from the MS Word, then you have to set that folder in the path, and then it will work. How can we set path? So environment variable, edit system environment variable, and then system environment variable, this path, edit it, system variable or user variable. The system variable have to go, path, edit it. So whatever things you are watching here, no, like Oracle Java path, or system 32, or this, everything is also here. Look, Oracle, system, Windows, this, that, all these things are only there. They are both same. In graphics mode, it is easier to, I mean, edit or do something. Like if you want to add a more path, then you can add it new from new button. It will give you space to add new path. And what I said, if you have any new commands, if you want to run it from anywhere, from any drive, from any location of the command prompt, then you have to set that folder in this path, and then it will come. Let us see a sample. Suppose suppose any folder like HTML. Copy it and paste it in the path. Okay, just new and paste it and do OK. Now OK, OK. And now once again see the path, exit it, and then again start it, and then see. That also comes in this path location if you once have added it. Okay, where it has gone. It will be here somewhere. Okay, you may find it. It comes there. This is look, it has came here. Because we have set it. It was not earlier there. We have set it, so it has came here. So this is how you can set the path, and then any command will work. Because if you will write anything, no, that will take from the path also. And if the command that you're writing does not exist anywhere due to any reason, let us check it. Like anything, anything is not a command. Okay, I'm just testing it. Then it instantly show you this message that not recognize as external or internal command. Okay, this kind of command is not there. Where it is not there, it is neither in command.com file, which is already there in RAM. It is not anywhere in this all this. So you might think, sir, had it searched all the folders in just less than 1 second? Yes, it has searched. It has got the database, it has searched, it has looked, and it had not found anything like such. That's why it's telling you this is not a recognized command. And if you are a good programmer, you can make executable file with this name and then it will start working. So I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. So this was about command.com file, and then config.sys and autoexe.bat. The name suggests autoexe.bat. This batch file automatically executes when the operating system is completed. This is the last step. Then autoexe.batch file is something which you may find in Windows XP or earlier version. It automatically executes. If you want few commands to run when your operating system get loaded, then you can write those commands in autoexe.batch file, and those commands will be automatically executed one by one in a batch. So this is how this operation takes place. Now we must also understand what are the types of booting. Okay, so I would like to tell you, dear students, booting is of two types. One is cold booting, another is warm booting. So what is the difference between cold booting and warm booting? So when the machine is switched off, it is completely off. No power supply is there. When you normally shut down a system, shut down a computer, desktop or a laptop, then everything take rest. No electricity is there. Nothing is there. It is completely down. And once we start a computer from that stage, means it is completely shut down. It's off. It's actually off. No power supply is there. And when we started fresh machine, when it is shut down or it is off from the very beginning, then this process is called cold booting, because machine is in cold stage, because it is cold. It's not warm. I mean, it's not started. It's cold. It was shut down. It was dead. Now we are starting it. It's called cold booting, and every step of booting takes place in this. Of course, it will take place. Now another is warm booting. What is warm booting? Once we have started a system, we are working over it. Now, due to any reason, we need to restart a machine. We can restart a computer using different techniques. There is a reset button in a desktop. We can simply press the reset button. Then also it will restart. In laptops, if it hangs, if nothing is responding, then if you'll keep pressed the power button for 5 to 10 seconds, then also machine forcefully gets shut down, and not forcefully get off, and then we can restart it from that stage also. And the major thing is, or important thing is, if your machine stops responding due to any reason, machines, laptop or desktop or even mobile phone, stop responding due to some reason, what may be the reason? The reason mostly is if you have given it more work than its capacity. If your computer doesn't have the capacity to handle many tasks, and you have given many tasks, or if you have started a heavy program is which consumes lot of resources, those are called heavy programs, like games or bigger programs, which is not meant for your machine, or that machine cannot handle that, then in those cases the system hangs or it freezes, it doesn't respond anything. So in that situation, we need to restart the system. Then of course I said that you can push the restart button, then also you can restart. Are the best practices in this situation in Windows operating system, the best practices: alt control and delete button is there. Alt control and delete button is there in the keyboard. Just press this. I have pressed it. So you can see, or if you cannot see, if you do this in the in your computer, you'll find task manager starts. You have to open task manager. So if you'll start task manager, it shows you this processes. Then you can see easily how many processes are working in your system. This is Zoom meeting. It's taking 19 or 20% of the CPU. This much MB of RAM it's taking. This much network it's taking. Then Google Chrome is also opened. Google Chrome is opened, uh, which is taking this much resource. So this is how lot of processes are running in the background. Look at this. These all are the operating. Few are your files, means for application files that you have opened, but few are, uh, I mean, operating system files, background files. These all services are working. You can see lot of things are working. Here you can see the performance in graph, how much CPU is working, how much memory is working, and all. App history shows something. Startup, these are the startup apps which get loaded when computer starts. So these things happen. If you want to stop anything forcefully, like if you want to stop the Chrome, I don't want Chrome. Because of Chrome the system has hanged. Suppose it has hanged, although in my computer it doesn't hang because it is very powerful system. It is the i7 processor with 8 GB of RAM, and graphics card is there, good memory. I mean, secondary storage is also SSD. Both the secondary store are SSD. So my system has never hanged, nor it will hang in future because it is a powerful machine. So if even if it has hanged, then press Alt Control N, go to see the processes, and you can right click and end the task from here also, or from here also. Then you see that Chrome Chrome was opened, no? Everything just closed forcefully. Okay, so this is how we can end the process, because of which the system has hanged. It will show you status not responding. You may find it will show you not responding. So click that, select that program which is not responding, and press end task. It will forcefully end it, and maybe your system will start working normally. Maybe it may start normally, it starts working normally. But even if after doing all these stuffs it's not working, then the last way is to forcefully switch it off by pressing and holding the power button for a longer period of time. Then it will forcefully shut down. Forcefully, it may cause the data loss and other things, but yet it will forcefully shut down, and then from there you can start it. So when we normally restart, means restart a system, this is called warm booting. In warm booting, first few steps are skipped, like post power on self test is skipped, and other few booting processes are steps, and when loading of operating system begins. It takes a little less time because few steps are skipped. So this is the difference between cold booting and warm booting. Cold booting, once again I'll let me tell you, it means if machine is shut down and then you are starting it from the very beginning, this is called cold booting. Warm booting means normally or simply when you simply restart your system, then this is called warm booting, when machine is warm. And yes, in warm booting, few initial stages or steps are skipped, they are not done, because machine is already on. This doesn't need to be tested again, that whether it was already working, we are just restarting it, no? So this is the thing. So thank you, dear students. We'll see some more about these things in the next class.